Wibta. If I told my wife the truth and potentially break our family. Me and my wife have been married for 4 years. I'm 27, my wife is 26. She's the love of my life. Met each other in college, and just after a few weeks we started dating and got married. I don't want to brag, but our romance is like no other. We prep surprise dinner for each other almost every day. We try our best to surprise each other as much as we can. My wife has a habit of sneaking up behind me and cover my eyes and kiss me. I don't remember when she started doing this, but it must have been a few years. She's so smart about this that she finds a way to kiss me when I don't expect. In her own words, she said I wouldn't be so dominating if I wasn't a man, and she wishes that our gender was reversed. Oh, how f***ing much I love my wife. Our sex life is great as well. She loves getting me blindfolded and doing other things. Anyway, enough about expressing my feelings. Coming back to my issue, me and my wife and my brother and his wife and my wife's sister and her husband meet each other at least once or twice a month. We live close to each other, so we just drink and party on weekends. So this weekend we planned to party at my brother's. We drank, danced, ate to the point we could even walk properly. I went to kitchen to grab me some juice cause I really drank a lot. And all of a sudden my brother's wife came up and kissed me the same way my wife would. At first I didn't think much, but I know my wife's lips, the size didn't match, so I removed her hands from my eyes and was shocked to her my sill. She ran away. I didn't say anything, neither she did, but I have been thinking of telling my wife about what happened, but I didn't yet. Yesterday my sill came to my house and begged me not to tell anyone. She said it was just a drunken mistake and she got jealous of how me and my wife are. This will never happen again, and if I told anyone, not only will it break our family, she might even get divorced. She kept begging and crying, so I told her I won't tell anyone, but we should maintain our distance. Now, I don't know what to do. I know the right thing to do is to tell my wife, but I know how she will react. I don't want to break my family. At the same time, I don't want to lie to my wife. First comment. NTA. Tell her right now. Don't wait any longer. You didn't do anything wrong, but if you keep the secret and it comes out some other way, you will completely lose her. Tell her that when she was out, your sill kissed you like she does. That you understood right away that it was someone else and removed the hands from your eyes. Tell her that your sill told you she did because she was drunk and jealous of your relationship. Tell her that you didn't tell her right away because you were scared of ruining your relationship, but you don't want to lie to her. Tell her everything. If you don't tell her and she finds out some other way, she will wonder why you lied to her, why you didn't tell her. What else are you not telling her or lying about? If she discovers this from someone else and they twist the story, you will never be able to tell her the truth again because she won't believe you given that you didn't tell her right away. Tell. Now. And tell your brother. Your sill sexually assaulted you and cheated on her husband. Do not protect her. It will ruin your relationship with your wife and your brother if it comes out. And it will. It always does. If she decides she doesn't trust you and twists the story to make you the bad guy, you'll lose everything. Speak now. Second comment. NTA. It's absolutely essential you come clean to your wife immediately. By holding on to this secret, you are inadvertently joining your sill in the deception, and that's not a position you want to be in. Honesty is the bedrock of a trusting marriage. The truth may be uncomfortable, but it's far less painful than the erosion of trust that comes with unsaid truths. When you tell your wife, do it with the utmost integrity and compassion, ensuring she understands that your loyalty lies with her and that you regret not telling her sooner out of fear. By being upfront now, you protect the integrity of your marriage and prevent your sill from potentially misconstruing events in her favor later. Your brother deserves to know as well. He has the right to understand who he's sharing his life with. This unfortunate incident isn't about assigning blame to you, it's about accountability for all involved. Don't allow your good intentions of preserving peace to become the very thing that undermines it. Your family deserves the respect of transparency, even when it's tough. Third comment. NTA, but silence is not your ally here. It's easy and human to want to protect the status quo, especially when you fear the potential fallout from an uncomfortable truth. However, the trust and strength of a marriage are built on the groundwork of honesty and mutual respect. While telling your wife about the incident with your sill may be difficult, it paves the way for dealing with the issue head-on as a unit. By failing to disclose the encounter, you're not preserving your family's harmony, you're undermining the foundation of trust with your partner. Give your wife the credit she deserves to handle the situation maturely. If your marriage is as strong as you believe, this predicament can be navigated together. Remember, omitting the truth can cause a rift just as much as a lie, and sometimes even more so when it inevitably comes to light. Open communication now will prevent a greater heartache later. Story 2. Am I the Ada for saying my in-laws treat my parents' home as an all-expense-paid hotel? Advice needed. Here's a bit of context. I got married 2 years ago. I knew prior to marriage that my Phil lived partly in my hometown and partly with his family in the city. I also knew that my mill had visited my hometown only twice before the engagement, even though my Phil has been living there for the past 25 years. Since my marriage, my mill has been visiting my hometown more frequently, and it always coincides with me visiting my parents. Instead of staying at my Phil's apartment, they both stay at my parents' place. Now, financially, my parents are at a much better place than my in-laws. Initially, my parents had invited them over out of cultural obligation when they learned my mill was visiting. Now, they invite themselves, saying that my parents wouldn't let them stay anywhere else. A month ago, my Phil had a heart attack and needed angioplasty. My father took care of all the expenses and medical attention. My mill and Bill went to my hometown, again, staying at my parents' place. My husband also decided we should go to help out with the finances and be there in an hour of need. There I saw my mill literally treating my mother like a maid, cranking up the AC. Side note, when I visit my in-laws, I am not allowed to use the AC because she claims the electricity bill is too high, and all in all doing nothing to contribute with the chores or household help. Even after her husband was discharged, her husband roamed the little town gaining sympathy and literally asking for money from debtors because he spent a ton because of the medical needs. They do not have insurance, so my husband and my Phil's brother took care of the expenses. My mill sat at home video calling her daughter and sisters and ordering me and my mother around. I also have a toddler, and my mill never made efforts to build a relationship with her, just demands bring her to me. I want to play with her like she is some sort of toy. Anyways, my daughter prefers my parents over my husband's parents, and she made a drama about it as well. She brought in all the clothes from my Phil's apartment and put it in our laundry. She then proceeded to demand that my mother cook 3 separate meals for my Phil because he didn't like one type of bland food. Also separate food for my Bill because he didn't like the taste of what's normally cooked at our house. The 10 days I had to stay there were physically and emotionally draining, as my in-laws were not only ungrateful but also critical of what my parents did, saying that the doctor my father took my Phil to took more money than needed. He actually didn't charge his own fee because he is my father's client. Now, my Phil has his appointment coming week. They have booked the tickets for August 5th, but the kicker is they haven't booked a return ticket and intend to stay there for undefined number of days until my Phil's business generates some profit. It's been in a loss for as long as I have been in touch with my now husband. I got frustrated because me and my husband had planned a trip in August even before this fiasco happened, and we were assuming they will leave after their consultation with the doc. My mill's tone seemed like she was exhausted catering to her sick husband and needed a break. She had complained to me about it over the past couple of weeks. When I learned about their plan, I told my husband that they just want to freeload off of my parents and they love the all-expenses-paid hotel. My husband, while agrees with the sentiment, thinks I am being a bit rude. Ada? First comment. NTA. Tell your husband in no uncertain terms that he needs to get his family in line. The free ride ends here. They will not be staying in your parents' home ever again. And it does need to be never again. If there is even an inch of wiggle room, they will take a mile. Your husband should be utterly ashamed of himself for allowing them to mistreat you and your family like this. How dare he say that you are being rude when they are behaving in this despicable manner? Enough is enough. They are ungrateful and selfish. He owes you and your parents a massive apology. To be honest, you also owe your parents an apology for not stopping this behavior sooner as well. Apologize to them and reassure them that you have finally taken steps to ensure they never treat your family that way again. If you visit and your in-laws want to see you, they can see you outside the home, but they should never step foot inside it again. Second comment. Bye, NTA, but you might want to help your parents set clear boundaries. It sounds like your in-laws have become too comfortable taking advantage of your parents' kindness. While it's great that they have a place to stay, it shouldn't be at the expense of your parents' comfort and autonomy. Your parents might be afraid of causing family tension, so they need to know it's okay to put their foot down here. A polite but firm approach could work wonders. Encouraging your parents to communicate their limitations to your in-laws is key. Perhaps a schedule or visiting hours could be established to prevent them from overstaying their welcome. It's essential to balance hospitality with personal boundaries. If the in-laws can't respect that, maybe it's time they looked into other accommodations. In the end, it's about respect and understanding from both sides. Your parents don't need to go to extremes to get their point across, but they do need to assert themselves. And you're right to support them in doing so. Third comment. NTA. However, both your in-laws and husband are. You should gather all your family and friends and descend on your parents' house en masse so there won't be room for your in-laws. Or, and this is just a thought, have a conversation with them. Say, why is it that you spend more time at my parents' house than I do? People are starting to talk about you guys are just using them ... But when I try to defend you, you show up at my parents' house, making it hard to defend you, then smile. And the next time they show up at your parents' house, grab them by the arm and have a nice, friendly sit-down about the propriety of their staying at your parents'. Phil has an apartment that he needs to start using because your parents are unable to have guests because they are always at the house. Let them know that you will always protect your parents. That's what a good child does.